The new lore behind every Pantheon boss in Destiny 2. Let's jump right in. So we've had these bosses in game for a while, but over the last month, Bungie has been releasing new lore tidbits about them in their weekly updates. So today in this video we bunch all of them together. Let's start with Golgoroth. It says Vanguard Guardian Dispatch, all points bulletin. Defenders of the city, you are tasked with the elimination of the following targets. First up we have Golgoroth. Classification Hive, Blood of Oryx, Ogre, Worm. His hazards are Void Eye Beam, Venomous Gaze, Unstable Light, and Monstrous Strength and Durability. Ogres are forged through torturous trials and dark rituals from corrupted and deformed thralls known as Unborn. They know only pain and are conditioned to hate and despise the light. Golgoroth is a hive ogre infested with burrowing parasites related to the worm gods and committed to Oryx's service. One of the most powerful ogres ever known, Golgoroth was felled aboard the Dreadnought by the same brave fire team that delivered the Taken King his final death. Vanguard operatives uncovered that Golgoroth was enlisted as a vessel to both tithe violence directly to Oryx and corrupt hordes of stolen light from Oryx's conquests. The ogre's flesh also served as containment for a Tablet of Ruin. Of note, recovered from Golgoroth's remains was the Tablet of Ruin ×1. The item has been vaulted for proper containment. Deciphered Hive Apocrypha suggests Golgoroth was fond of flower petals. Daughters of Savathûn would send warriors with petals stuffed beneath their chitin as deathly delights for the ogre. The Caretaker, classification, Scorn, Abomination, Altered, Resonant. Elixni Former, House Unknown, Worm, Altered. Its hazards include Scaled Drone Swarm, Overcharge Ether Blast, Sacred Dematerialization, and Resonant Empowerment. Slain by the intrepid fire team that stormed the sunken pyramid in the fetid court of Savathûn, the Caretaker is a being of which we know little. It resembles a Scorn abomination, but has been the subject of several experiments and is believed to have been host to a worm. The Caretaker was entrusted with a collection of worm spawn, as well as other entities the Witness and Ralk had obtained to be analyzed and stored within the pyramid. Reports from fire teams raiding the sunken pyramid mention that the Caretaker appears to have been both victim to and overseer of experiments seeking to fuse worms and Scorn together. Multiple fire teams have commented on what appear to be pet mutations that are believed to have belonged to the Caretaker. Whether these were rejected experiments or unsanctioned creations isn't known. There is a discrepancy in the number of worm spawn marked as collected from the pyramid and those delivered to the tower's vault containment. Guardians who have information regarding their whereabouts should submit a report to Vanguard leadership. Zoark, Explicator of Planets. Classification Manufactured, Cabal Shadow, Legion Incendior, Clone. Hazards include Cabal Magma Launcher, Searing Beam, Column of Flame, Magma Launcher Compression Blast, Paracausal Shielding, and Resonant Empowerment. Zoark is a Cabal clone created by the disposed Emperor Callus and is assigned to a detachment of the Shadow Legion forces aboard the Witness's personal pyramid ship. According to Vanguard decryption teams, Zoark, who was granted the title Explicator of Planets, has surveyed a collection of worlds conquered by the Black Fleet for unknown purpose. Preliminary theories span weighting the worlds for discipleship to searching for the Veil or a method of contributing to the final shape. Reports conclude that even the Shadow Legion was not immune to Nezarek's torment. Zoark details his own nightmares and more reports of nightmares and violent incidents among his forces. Zoark's personal logs have been decoded. It seems that whatever their official goal was, they were personally cataloging worlds that had once been part of the Cabal Empire, but were no more. And lastly, we have Atrax 1, Fallen Exo, the Wild Card. Classification Elixni, Exos, House Salvation Baroness, X House of Devils Council. Her hazards include Modified Shock Rifle, Extinction Protocol, Self-Replication, Teleportation, and Stasis Empowerment. Exos are humanoid machines that house a living mind. Atrax-1 obtained this technology from a Braytech station orbiting Europa. Atrax's mind commands multiple copies of her exo frame. Before converting her form, Atrax acted as counsel to Aramis, Kell of House Salvation, for many years. Atrax was entrusted with command of the Deep Stone Crypt. She was destroyed by the Guardian fire team that brought the Morning Star down from orbit. Atrax-1 created multiple copies of herself to deceive foes. Fire teams encountering this tactic in the future are advised to locate the original target and focus a simultaneous strike. Atrax was at one time seen as a voice of reason, an orator able to speak to the hands of the Elixni youth in House Salvation. Of note, the Hidden have relayed rumors that a copy of Atrax-1's mind exists stored somewhere on Europa. This has yet to be verified. At least 2 of the initial 6 fire team members that destroyed Atrax-1 believe they destroyed a clone and that the real Atrax-1 still lives. This is under investigation. Atrax-1 was known to prefer synthetic lubricant when undergoing maintenance. Classification: Hive God, first navigator and king of the Osmium court, brother to Savathun and Xivu Arath, father to Crota, ex-Krill, Taken wielder. Hazards include the power to take, Willbreaker Blade of Oryx, commands Hive and Taken legions. Planar tearing, corrupted light, darkness mastery, godly strength and durability. Guardians rated Sigma 3 or lower are advised not to engage. Intel: Oryx was once known as Arash, one of the 3 sisters of Krill nobility. She became Oryx upon descending into the deep, accepting a worm and choosing to shed her form in favor of a king morph. Oryx then began a crusade of conquest and death across the universe in pursuit of the final shape. After invading Sol to seek vengeance for the death of his son, Crota, and winning a decisive victory at the Battle of Saturn, Oryx was dethroned by a valiant fire team who infiltrated the Dreadnought and ended the Taken King. Many Hives still tithe to Oryx in secret, though it is not known where the power of their tithes goes, given that the Taken King is dead. After his defeat, Oryx's corpse fell to Titan, where the Lucent Hive attempted to resurrect him through the heretical use of necromancy, a crime for which Oryx once banished another one of his sons, Nokris. The scheme was foiled by Guardian operatives. Of note, Oryx slew Akka, the Worm of Secrets, and carved the Dreadnought from its corpse. Hidden operatives report faint biosignatures still pulsing from within the ship's hull. Through the use of Willbreaker and the Dreadnought, Oryx may weaponize his throne world, allowing it to spill into the material plane as a wave of destructive power. This weapon claimed the Awoken fleet during the Battle of Saturn. While imprisoned in the Dreaming City, Savathun once claimed that her brother Oryx was unable to control his curiosity, that his worm intentionally directs it, and that the worm manipulates Oryx's actions unbeknownst to him. She claims all hive worms function this way. The veracity of this claim is unconfirmed. And lastly, Erismorn used Oryx's ravenous heart to construct the exotic weapon Touch of Malice. So some interesting notes there on Oryx. Most of this we already knew, but there is some new small lore tidbits like the worm. We know from the Ghost of the Deep lore that Oryx's worm could still be out there, so is this hinting towards that possibility? Classification: the last known Lubraean, first disciple of the Witness. Other names: the Upender, Wormfather, Dread, Resonant. Hazards include Darkness Mastery, Immeasurable Strength and Durability. Powerful Lubrae's Ruin Glaive, Sons of Lubrae Attack and Debuff, Savage Strike Kick, Umbral Suffocation Attack, Teleportation, Resonant Spikes Area Effect, and Guardians rated Sigma 3 or lower are advised not to engage. Ronk was born on the planet Lubrae, a world originally blessed by the Traveler that spiraled into an authoritarian regime when the Traveler left. Fueled by rage, Ronk sought to destroy the regime, but his bloodlust led to being ostracized from his clan. Eventually, afraid of what he'd become, his clan attempted to kill him. Decrypted records from the pyramid indicate that the Witness made contact with Ronk during this time. restored him, and empowered him as the first disciple. Ralk took his vengeance on Lubre, annihilating its parent star and destroying the planet. Vanguard power assessments place Ralk far above any previous enemy faced by any Guardian. Battle scholars theorize the bold fire team that stormed the sunken pyramid only prevailed due to Ralk's humoring a fight to begin with, but prevail they did. Hidden cipher sequences buried in the symbols throughout have been decrypted by a pioneering cryptarch, thanks to countless fire teams keeping the way clear. The solved sequence is believed to be astronomical coordinates to Lubre, probe dispatched, awaiting arrival. The creation of the hive was majorly influenced by Ralk. The first disciple of the Witness subjugated the worm mother Zeta and forced her spawn into union with the krill, which led to the hive species and the hive gods themselves. Cryptarchs have uncovered communications between Ralk and Savathun, in which Savathun derides Ralk's simplicity as a tactician. According to the Witch Queen, the first disciple only values strength, and his downfall will be his brute force approach to every situation. Classification: Ahamkara, aka Wish Dragon. Summoned spirit temporarily. Reefborn in captivity. Blood of Oryx and taken temporarily. Hazards: reality manipulation, paracausal wishes, metaphysical bleeds, and descendant atrophy. Highly intelligent, constantly attempting to entrap prey. Blistering soulfire, tentacle quakes, axion dart, corrosion in close proximity, and Riven's gaze. Riven is an Ahamkara known colloquially as Wish Dragons. She was originally believed to be the last living Ahamkara until a clutch of her egg was discovered within the confluence of the Dreaming City. Ahamkara feed off the gulf between reality and desire by granting wishes to unsuspecting prey. Then they twist those wishes into devious schemes to satiate their hunger and boredom alike. Long ago, Ahamkara were hunted to near extinction by the Vanguard during the Great Hunt. Once the Dreaming City opened, Guardians stormed it to chase down Aldrin Soph and assaulted the Keep of Voices to slay Riven. But they themselves were caught within her schemes. By inadvertently wishing to save the Dreaming City, the heroic fire team found themselves executing Riven's last wish and pulling the Dreaming City into a cursed cycle of taken corruption that remains to this day. Years after her death, Riven was reconstituted in spiritual form by the awoken Techians of the Reef in a bid to use her wish magic to follow the Witness into the Traveler and stop the final shape. In return, Riven struck a bargain with the Guardians to find and return the hidden eggs that held her progeny. Both parties held to their word, leading to a renewed future for the Ahamkara and one final opportunity to strike at the Witness. It is speculated by the Cryptarchy scholars of the Reef that the Wall of Wishes Marasov constructed to protect the Dreaming City from Riven's harmful schemes still retains unknown sequences. If so, the Queen has locked these behind her own personal ciphers. It was recently learned that Riven had a mate named Taranis, who was responsible for cloistering away her last clutch of eggs to protect them. Taranis did this by granting his own wish. In the process, he sacrificed his own life to ensure the continuation of his progeny and the safety of his love's last remnants. Riven was found by Aldrin Soph, reborn as Crow, and brought to his sister Marasov, Queen of the Reef. They used Riven's power to construct the Dreaming City, a hidden bastion of awoken power in the Reef. Many years passed, during which Dreaming City was breached by Oryx. Riven became taken, and the Dreaming City was opened to Guardians due to the actions of the maddened Aldrin Soph. So pretty much a story recap there of Riven of 1,000 Voices. The most interesting thing to note in my perspective would be some of the classifications and hazards: reality manipulation, metaphysical bleeds, paracausal wishes. We know the Veil deals with the metaphysical, and both it and the Traveler combined deal with reality manipulation. Ahamkara are also seen in the final shape. Also, the bit about more possible wishes in the wish wall is kind of funny. Do more wishes actually exist, or was this just a fun poke at the 15th wish in the past involving the wish wall? Now we have Nezarec, the final god of pain. Classification: Disciple of the Witness. Dread: Prime Tormentor. Resonant: unknown origin species. Other names: the purest light, the darkest hour, whispering nightmare. His hazards include induced nightmares and haunts, tormentor plating, nightmare scythe, Nezarec's hatred, overwhelming energy, null paroxysm, suppression, abyssal cleave, and psionic entropy. Created from Ralk's blueprint, Nezarec was the first tormentor from which all others owe their lineage. Nezarec relishes in sowing fear and pain, feeding off the terror of sentient beings. He can induce nightmares across entire worlds. Nezarec, in possession of the Veil, led the Black Fleet as it assaulted Earth during the collapse, but was betrayed and killed by Savathun. She separated, cursed, and entombed his lunar pyramid within the moon and stole away the Veil. Guardians uncovered the lunar pyramid when the Vanguard mobilized to assault the Scarlet Keep, and they uncovered the Veil when they made contact with Neomuna on Neptune. For centuries, Nezarec remained buried. Then, his disembodied head, held aboard the Witness's pyramid, was struck by a terraforming beam fired by the Traveler. It revitalized him as it reshaped the pyramid, where an undaunted fire team cut him down once more. Much that is known about Nezarec is derived from the anecdotal experiences, engaged fireteam raids, and a tome recovered from the Golden Age that was titled Of Hated Nezarec. An old Scion exotic relic known colloquially as Nezarec Sin has long found its home among Warlock operatives. The helmet has known many owners throughout the years, all of whom have perished under mysterious circumstances, been rendered comatose, or have since relinquished their possession of the helm to another owner. The helm is currently believed to be in possession of the Guardian, name redacted, a hero of few words. Mithrax, Kell of House Light, is currently afflicted with Nezarec's curse despite Nezarec being destroyed. This occurred when the Kell led an effort to recover Nezarec's scattered remains. He wants to distill Nezarec's essence into a mentally reviving elixir while siphoning the corruptive elements into himself. Attempts to dispel or cure this curse are ongoing. Chalco has been assigned to monitor it and report back any changes. Legends from the Dark Age speak of light-bearers and non-bearers alike suffering night terrors when the moon is at perigee. The legends detail rituals with the nearly extinct earth plant lavender, long thought to hold protective, calming, and cleansing properties. Furthermore, there are later legends detailing victims of these night terrors smelling lavender after waking, as if the nightmare mocked their attempts at protection. This led to a subsequent switch to a myriad of other panaceas. So Nezarec's info here reveals a lot of cool information. First up, Nezarec was created from Ralk's blueprint. We know Ralk was the first disciple of the Witness, so the Witness likely looked at Ralk and said, "Yeah, you're a pretty good disciple, I'll use you to make my further ones." It doesn't tell us Nezarec's original species, but the Witness used Ralk's blueprint to turn him into what we see now, the first Tormentor. Every Tormentor you see after that is an imprint of Nezarec like we saw in Lightfall, copies of them. So it would seem the Witness is able to keep these blueprints of certain beings and create new creatures. This is likely how the Dread are created in the final shape. Callus may have underwent a similar transformation. The Witness may have used Ralk's blueprint once more. Nezarec's Sin is confirmed to be a Scion exotic relic. The helmet also seemed to cause some issues, maybe parts of these nightmares, but some of its previous owners disappeared randomly or died. It's currently in possession of your Guardian if you're a Warlock. And another scary piece of information regards Mithrax, Kell of House Light. We've had some lore regarding Mithrax over the last year and how he's dealing with some pain after Season of Plunder. This text basically confirms that Mithrax does in fact have the curse of Nezarec. Ever since making that elixir to free Osiris and bring him back, Mithrax sort of absorbed this curse himself and has yet to get rid of it. There's been previous hints at Mithrax's fate over the last year, and maybe he'll die and become a Lightbearer, we don't know. So Pantheon was a really fun addition in Into the Light. We didn't really know this was going to be a thing when Into the Light was announced, but as it went along, more bosses were released. Most people seemed to enjoy it, and it would be nice to see it return maybe yearly with updated bosses and encounters. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.